Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rio, but I live in Nandi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Kornabuan, Tapua. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Makanisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I've been listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Tonight, government rejects proposals in amnesty report. Parliament passes public order amendment bill. And minister says military plays vital role.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The government has rejected recommendations proposed in the 2016 amnesty report, calling it a flawed and biased document. Responding to an opposition question about what the government was doing about implementing recommendations made in the report, the Attorney General ripped the report's credibility to shreds, saying authors of the report wrote parts of it without even talking to the officials mentioned in the report. Maggie Boyle reports.
There is no state sanction.
Not one to mince his words, the AG picked the latest amnesty report apart.
What was presented by Amnesty International is legally biased and is factually flawed. And in fact, I'll come to that, and lacks intellectual integrity. Amnesty International, Madam Speaker, in particular since 2008 or so, has been blatantly making sweeping generalizations and statements which are blatantly incorrect.
But the opposition was relentless.
Taking all that statement into account, long and winding, totally wrong, erroneous, true only to him, can the Honourable Minister explain whether the government will implement the recommendations or not?
Syed Kiyum reiterating with a summation.
The Constitution does not give immunity from criminal prosecution in those offences that I just read out. So the observation by the Amnesty International report is wrong. How can we adhere to something that is wrong? Madam Speaker, secondly, it says amend Section 65 of the Prisons Act. How can we amend it when the Act does not exist? How can we amend an Act that does not exist? And he has the audacity to stand up and say, are you going to comply with it or not?
The AG also highlighted flaws in how information contained in the report was gathered.
The researcher from Amnesty International did not even go and meet the DPP, but wrote a report on the DPP. Only after we highlighted, after the report was released to the public, then she went and sat outside his office trying to meet up with him to try and correct something that she had done wrong. And he refused to meet her because she's already cast aspersions.
Despite major flaws in the report, the 2016 Amnesty International report recommended changes in Parliament, in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Constitutional Officers Commission, the Corrections Commissioner, the Police Commissioner, as well as the RFMF Commander, in addition to the Ministry of National Security and Defence. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Parliament has passed the Public Order Amendment Bill allowing political groups more freedom to hold meetings without a police permit. In the past, a permit was needed for any meeting, but now is only needed if the meeting is to be held in a public area. However, there are still conditions.
That, however, should, in the course of them having that meeting, if it's in Civic Centre or Honourable Prasad's house, in the yard, if they have the meeting, and if there are words that are uttered or that will disaffect communities, it will cause communal discord, then the authorities have the ability to come and stop that meeting. This is something that is not peculiar to Fiji, it's relevant in most jurisdictions in the world.
While the military engages in peacekeeping operations, they also contribute to the development of our nation. Minister for Defence Ratu Enoke Kumbombola today said in Parliament that peacekeepers over the years have carried out their core role as detailed in the 2013 Constitution. Savara Tambor reports.
These are the kind of jobs that military officers are doing apart from peacekeeping duties.
These developments have provided those in the rural areas equal opportunity and access to infrastructure similar to those in the urban areas of Fiji. The RFMF still undertakes training in underprivileged youths in trade skills such as carpentry and construction.
Questions were asked in Parliament about the engagement of RFMF in the development of infrastructure such as roads, seaports and bridges. The minister responded saying his ministry will look into assistance in these areas. Other questions were also asked.
How those activities relate to the constitutional role of the RFMF?
The RFMF has grown over the years from a purely military-oriented dominant force before and during independence. As you know, we use our soldiers for disaster response and other ways of developments in Fiji.
The RFMF as of today has 2,860 in its regular force and 4,279 in the territorial force. Members of the House were told this morning by the minister that the RFMF has a chaplain who deals with the domestic problems they might face when returning from peacekeeping duties. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Questions were today raised on the expiry of medicines listed under the Free Medicine Scheme. Opposition Member of Parliament Anare Vande claims he's received confirmation from pharmacies listed under the scheme, saying medicines are expired before being given to patients.
The government has so far registered more than 24,000 people under the Free Medicine Scheme and spends more than $10 million to buy these medicines yearly. But opposition MP Anare Vande claims most of the medicines are going to waste.
Patients have come across medicines in health centers, especially in rural and remote areas, which have gone past the expiry date and are supposed to be thrown away.
The health minister, however, says the consumption of free medicines is monitored on a monthly basis.
As of December 2016, the ministry had purchased around $4.8 million worth of medicines. These were received into our ministry's warehouse in Namboa before being distributed to dispensing point.
Concerns have also been raised on the health ministry failing to provide the list of the 142 medicines under the Free Medicine Scheme to the hospitals and the health centers.
Some pharmacies are complaining about the storage space in their pharmacy for this free medicine, as they are taking up more space, and the government, Ministry of Health, are not providing enough assistance, financial and fiscal, in return to cater for the storage.
Those whose income is less than $20,000 are eligible to apply for the scheme. Sharin Shivan, FBC News.
People from rural areas will still have priority over urban dwellers when it comes to offshore employment under the Seasonal Workers Scheme. This was confirmed by Employment Minister Choneo Sumate as the demand for the scheme gains momentum. Saniani Boiler reports.
The Employment Ministry will continue with its Tikina-based approach to recruit the unemployed living in rural areas for seasonal work overseas.
The difference between our youth in these areas and the youth out in the maritime and rural areas, that those out there, other than subsistence agriculture, they don't have any other form of access to getting capital to be able to build up their lives. So that was the idea behind taking that form of assistance mainly out to the rural and maritime areas.
Usamate's comments was in response to opposition MP Salote Randondo's question on whether or not the scheme could also target unemployed youths in urban areas.
Unemployment is also very high in urban and peri-urban areas. So can the Honourable Minister explain how unemployed youths in these areas could benefit or could access the Overseas Seasonal Workers Program, which is focusing mainly right now in the rural areas?
As the demand grows and as we begin to develop and promote the Fiji product, which is the workers from Fiji, it is likelihood that these opportunities will also be opened up to our youth in the peri-urban areas.
Usamate says the National Employment Centre is heavily involved in providing skills training for those who seek employment. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Still ahead, weather clears up, but more rain on the forecast. And it's not your everyday wedding, couple take vows.
मेरा नाम कमल रोशनी है। हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तवरा में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM
It's hot.
Fiji will start feeling the effects of tropical disturbance 10F from tomorrow afternoon. The Fiji Meteorological Service says heavy rain with flooding is on the forecast and Fijians need to start preparations now. Ellen Stolz with this story.
Fiji Meteorological Service Director Ravin Kumar is tonight pleading with members of the public not to be complacent about the looming disturbance.
Anticipation of the approach of the trough from the west, we expect that the heavy rains will come over us by Friday night, as well as we anticipating that the strong winds will develop as the system approaches close to the country.
It was a sunny day without a drop of rain in Nandi today as people begin cleaning their homes and assessing the damage from yesterday's floods. While floodwaters have receded in some areas, here in Lomolomo, it is taking a little bit more time. Merioni Vuniayawa and her family only heard about the news about TD10F from our news team and say they will now make preparations for tomorrow. We are planning to go to my daughter's house and take refuge there during this rain. For others like Saint-Emily Cecilia and her family, damaged books, mud-soaked mattresses and soiled household items are all that's left when floodwaters ravaged their home yesterday.
At 8 a.m. in the morning, our house was underwater. There was a function here in the village, but we could not attend because we were so concerned about the things in our home.
Members of the public are being advised to adhere to warnings and bulletins issued by the Nandi Weather Office and to be prepared for more rain. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
A proposed new legislation will soon see all rented properties registered with the Fiji Commerce Commission. The new Landlords and Tenants Act is said to protect both the landlord and the tenant. Eleanor Tarangaiviu has more.
Under the current legislation, landlords can voluntarily register their rented properties with the Commerce Commission. The proposed Landlords and Tenants Act will make it compulsory to register. It's just one of the many changes that will be seen in this sector.
Keeping in line with government's overall initiative to make sure that we have excellent service for the people, for all Fijians, we thought that we will look at the past 6 years where we've received so much complaints regarding landlords and tenants issues, and we will put them under one legislation so that people can come to one place and get all the issues resolved.
The Commission CEO and his team was in Lambasa today, carrying out public consultations on the proposed new law. Some of the issues raised today include bonds, tenants not paying their rents and bills, and landlords not being able to recover from repairs expenditure, amongst many others.
What we have decided is, when we looked at all these issues, we said, look, there needs to be a law that is fair to both landlords and tenants. So everybody has rights and obligations.
This is the first ever law in the country that will deal with both the landlords and the tenants at the same time.
I'm really quite happy what I heard from the interviews and what the presenters have put down between the landlord and tenants with the Commerce Commission.
This consultation, I think it is timely. People have been given the opportunity to come and voice out their concerns, which have been noted by the officers. I think it is going to benefit all the citizens of this country, particularly those who are landlords and tenants.
This first round of public consultation will end next week. On March 1st, the second round of consultations will begin, and the Commerce Commission is expected to finalize the draft copy of the Landlords and Tenants Act by June before it is taken to Parliament, where it will be passed and then implemented. Eleanor Tarangaiviu, FBC News.
A documentary highlighting the academic success of the Via High School in Laos was launched this week with support from the United States. Produced by Samisoni Pareti, the video tells the story about how one of the country's most remote schools managed to attain a 100% pass rate in external exams with the help of the entire island community. U.S. Ambassador to Fiji Judith Sefkin hopes this model can be translated across the region.
It's very inspiring, and it really shows what can be done with the right combination, as you've heard, of leadership, of community involvement. So, and I hope it goes even broader beyond Fiji.
lack of resources, distance, and also the fact that they don't have the best teachers in their school to achieve the results that they did, amazing results of almost 100% in their examinations.
Despite hardships and physical disability, a couple today took their marriage vows at the Samambula Senior Citizens Home. After physically challenged 32-year-old Shabnam Nisha described her situation on social media, she met 36-year-old Neil Roop. They say finding each other has given them the courage to face life. Pranita Prakash has more.
Physically disabled Nisha and her partner were evicted from their rented apartment last year. Because of her disability, she had to be placed in the Samambula Senior Citizens Home where they were married this morning. She describes her new life partner as an angel.
Whatever the circumstances came, we just struggled, but he never misused me. If it was someone else, he would have taken me on the street and tell me to beg for the money. Any other way he could have used, but he, instead of doing that, he brought me in a safe place.
Neil describes his life as difficult and has faced many challenges, but says Shabnam is his pillar of strength. The couple are expecting a child in a few months, and Neil says he will take care of the baby as well.
I was losing hope at the most of the time. Later I can't look after her, and I lose my hope, and then just that time she gave me courage that no, Neil, don't lose hope. I'll be staying with her and try to do some own business so that boys can walk under me like that in future, and I can stay with her and look after the baby and everything.
The case of Roop and Nisha is quite unique. However, both of them are positive to make a life together. Nisha's message to the public out there is if there is a will, there is a way. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Time for Rachel to tell us what's happening in the world of business.
Good evening. Coming up in business tonight, Commerce talks about priority areas. And later on in Growing Fiji, road upgrades for Kalekana.
And later on in sports with Jamie, Fiji wins netball hosting rights.
Hello, we from Latoka. We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is Kanto. I'm from Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Mula Fiji, my name is Florence Ratu. I'm from Corner Number 1 in Tavua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits every day and all day.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm from the soccer crazy town of Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Leading our business segment tonight, increased collaboration between the private sector and the government is a priority for the Fiji Chamber of Commerce this year. Vice President Nozab Farid says the focus is to increase stakeholder input in decision making. Farid says this will give the private sector an opportunity to learn government's intentions for informed business decisions. Fiji Chamber of Commerce will be conducting a series of activities which include the Fiji Business Forum and several luncheons.
Department of Land, Town and Country Planning, Suva City Council, Fiji Road Authority, Fiji Ports Corporation. So all these stakeholders need to be brought into a stage where to engage with private sector, the business guys, investors, and whatever the problems they have need to be solved.
Saad Minam has been named the new country head for ANZ Fiji. Minam will be reporting to ANZ Regional Executive Pacific Tressa Price. Price says Minam stepped up to lead in the acting capacity in March last year. Minam brings with him over 20 years of international banking experience, having worked in 5 different countries across Asia before moving to Fiji in 2013. New data in regards to our trade has been released, and here's Elizabeth to tell us more.
Yes, the Reserve Bank of Fiji reported that in 2016, our export receipts rose slightly by 1.4% compared to an 18.6% decline in 2015. Our import payments, however, grew by 6.2% compared to a decline of 2.2% in 2015. Inward remittances rose by 10.2% compared to a growth of 28.3% in 2015. As of January 30th this year, foreign reserves are around 1,925 million, which is sufficient to cover 5.1 months of retained imports of goods and non-factor services. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand announced that economic growth in New Zealand has increased as expected, so they have maintained their official cash rate at 1.75% this morning.
Interesting developments, Elizabeth. On to today's exchange rates. A drop in the Chinese yuan and the American dollar as it closed at $3.26 and 47 cents respectively. Taking a look at our regional currency, the Australian dollar continues to drop, closing at 62 cents, while the New Zealand and PNG kina closed at 64 cents and $1.32 respectively. In our commodities market tonight, oil rose by 44 cents to close at $53.39. Gold followed a similar trend to close at $1,242. And silver, that's been steady for the past 2 days, finally rose, but only by 1 point to close at $17.76. In Goa in Fiji tonight, a road maintenance project at Kalakina settlement in Lami will bring a sigh of relief for more than 1,000 residents. The project is currently underway by Fulton Hogan Highways and is expected to take 1 month to complete. The work involves improving the existing drainage, installing new culverts and V-drains, as well as repaving. And that's it from the world of business tonight. Here's Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Coming up in sports, Fiji wins bid to host World Youth Netball Championships. And we take a look at confirmed and possible movements in Fiji FA's transfer window. Find out more after the break.
Well, Tevitarokuta, my Honokulan Rasa Lutoka, Duba Talita Navarro on a radio Fijuan.
Bulan Arango Fina, my Corviri Nandi, out the Talitaka Navarro and a radio Fijuan, na Procaramu, Masmasu, and a Mataklai.
Oya Ochone Kurinambila, my Vunagoru, Namakete Hinga Tokape, the Talitakina Navarro on a radio Fijuan, Gena and Domoiviti.
Na radio Fijuan, and Domoiviti in Wonga and Nibianen.
Netball Fiji has won its bid to host the World Youth Netball Championship in 2021 and in conjunction with the World Netball Congress as well. This was confirmed today by President Wainikiti Mbonginrao, who says their preparations begin now. Melita Vanga reports.
After a lapse of 29 years, a world-class netball event will be hosted by Netball Fiji.
The bid was easy. Now the hard work begins.
The sporting body placed its bid last November and is pleased with the outcome.
We went to bid. We provided them a host of different accommodation categories that are available in Fiji, from the very expensive, the Grand Pacific Hotel, to our boarding rooms.
Netball Fiji President Mbonginrao says they will now liaise with various stakeholders to ensure the championship runs smoothly.
We will have to work with the council in regards to the wooden sprung floors, to the seating arrangements, ensuring that they have enough rooms for umpires.
After seeing top-level competition when the Silver Ferns were in action here last year, netball fans are excited about the upcoming event.
Good for the country, for they play all the netball girls.
Good chance for Fijians to see some well-known netball players in actions at the championship.
As I said, it's going to boost sporting facilities here in Fiji.
With the venue yet to be confirmed, the top netball team from 20 countries around the world will compete in the World Netball Championship. Along with the teams and athletes, 300 delegates will be here as the country will host the World Netball Congress. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Districts and players have until Wednesday to take advantage of the Fiji Football Association February player transfer window. Rohit Deo takes us through the latest transfers and the process of how a player gets to change his district.
An average of 50 players change districts at top-level football in Fiji during every transfer window. This is for obvious reasons: better pay packets, more playing opportunities, and for personal development.
Between the two former under-20 players.
So far, Ba and Rewa have been most active, with Pranil Naidu and Ramiro Takiate returning to the Men in Black after a short stint with Lambasa, while Abu Zaid also returns to the traditional champions after spending some time in New Zealand. Bas Samuela Kautonga and Nandis Vuniudi Tikoma America have joined Rewa, strengthening the Delta Tigers campaign for the OFC Champions League. Suvas Chal and Reloa and Nikhil Chand are likely to join Lambasa, while Rewa's Bruce Hughes and Tavua Stopa Jovili Simburisi may join Suva. Nandi Shafim Bucks is expected to join newcomers Raki Raki. Now, the transfer of a player is not an easy process. Firstly, a letter is written to the current district about the player's movement, after which an application is made to Fiji FA with $25. If a breach of contract is involved, then the new district pays a maximum of $5,000 for the player, while another $5,000 could be claimed if the former association had spent money on the player's development. The new district also ends up paying any advance the player would have taken from the former district.
Comes in to give some more power.
Districts are expected to rush in with applications with only 6 days before the current window closes. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
While the Fiji men's hockey team is putting in the hard yards ahead of the World League Round 2 playoffs in Bangladesh, they also have to overcome a number of other obstacles before they get there. Vasnil Prasad caught up with the team at the National Hockey Centre and filed this report.
It could be easy to hit for a goal on the field, but it's totally opposite of the turf for the Fiji Hockey Federation.
They have to get themselves down to the ground. That's another expense. Then they get themselves home after 8. You get home, some of these players get home at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We don't have the luxury of in camp, but we do whatever we can do with what we got.
But the struggle doesn't stop the players when it comes to the intense training underway.
From that experience, we're hoping to do better and gain valuable points. One of our aims is to actually qualify for the Commonwealth Games.
After the great start, the unexpected finish in India 4 years ago is still fresh in the minds of the coach, who is now working to ensure they stay strong to the final whistle.
You know, in the previous tournament, we led these teams first. Then we lost out towards the end as we had a few issues without doubt in India.
The team is currently 51st in the latest world ranking and 18th in the Commonwealth standings. Their real challenge will be going up against high-ranking teams like host Bangladesh, Oman and Malaysia in the pool games. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Fiji Rugby Union head coach John McKee believes a lot of work needs to be done with the national under-20 side this year. The Fiji under-20 team was relegated to the second tier 5 years ago and have struggled for promotion ever since. But McKee has big plans for the baby flying Fijians this year.
Very, very important that we really work hard to get our under-20s back in the Junior World Championship, and I think the way the team's in the Junior World Trophy this year, I think it's a prime opportunity for Fiji to get back.
The Super Cricket Association hopes to have age group competitions in the near future. Currently, competition is only played in the senior grade, but the association is calling for volunteers who can help them develop the sport for younger players. The association believes doing this will boost development.
After our season finish, we go and train some under 10 years old cricketers. This one is not under the Super Cricket Association so far, but it's unofficially we are trying to find out the volunteers, players who can come and join us, and then they can train the younger boys because this is the right age for them.
Today's Play of the Day spot has been taken over by bees. Yes, you heard right, bees. A swarm of them disrupted a cricket match between Sri Lanka and South Africa. The uninvited guests stopped play when Sri Lanka was batting in the 24th over. That's it from sports this evening. Up ahead, weather with Angie. And in the world of the weird and wonderful, meet Baba Sen, the famous cosmic energy guy from Pushkar, India. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
I'm Andrea Sorbakro of Nayabu Wendibuga Telebu. Whenever I want to tune in
to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Tano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Twitter's future may just be hanging by a string which Google could pull in its favor. Rachel Nath tells us more.
In September, a number of companies were looking at buying the social media company, including Disney, Salesforce, Apple, and yes, Google's Alphabet. However, these companies ruled themselves out of the running in early October, resulting in 20% being wiped off the company's value in just 24 hours. Now, why would Google buy this? Well, Twitter has a huge collection of database which could be an asset for the search giant. Also, Google hasn't really kicked off well with social media. Twitter will allow it to do so. While it's business as usual with Twitter, it's still in need of a buyer. The only option to keep the 140-character company's mission alive could be Google.
And we join Angie now with all the very latest in weather.
Good evening and welcome to my world. Wasn't today's weather extremely gorgeous? The sun finally thought about us and worked its magic as warm sunny conditions prevailed over most parts of the country, bringing along some lovely brisk winds. But unfortunately, this sunshine won't stick around for long as a heavy rain alert is in force for the whole of Fiji, brought by a trough of low pressure expected to affect the country by tomorrow afternoon, so ensure that your car wipers are working perfectly. In the west, the sun shone for a bit, but cloudy periods took over with a couple of thunderstorms, leaving temperatures in the lower 30s. Eastwards from Pack Harbour to Suva, well, it was a bit warm, but the winds blew away all the humidness. Temperatures stayed at 30. And up north, cloudy but humid conditions presented itself with temperatures cranking up at 33 degrees in Lambasa, while Savo was a degree lower at 32. For tomorrow, well, it's a bye-bye to the sun and hello to the rain again, as squally thunderstorms with heavy showers will pay a visit by tomorrow afternoon. Chances of flash flooding in some low-lying areas, especially in the west, is very high. Temperatures looking hot for Suva tomorrow at 33 degrees with lows of 26, with the major centers in the west being cool at 29 with lows of 26. Looking further on to Saturday, it's rain, and more rain is the forecast. I guess the rain is loving us a bit too much these days. At sea, northwest winds 20 to 30 knots with rough to very rough seas. And for our fishing fans, the next low tide tonight is at 11:43 with a high tide tomorrow morning at 5:55 a.m. And that's FBC weather for tonight, Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. Today on Fijian Pulse, we ask the people, whose responsibility is it to clean drains in towns and cities?
All the peoples, their responsibility is to clean all the towns and the cities.
It is on town council because we are the town ratepayers. So he have a full authority responsible to do the cleaning.
I think it's the Suva City Council responsible for cleaning the drains, but also the citizens of Fiji not to throw rubbish and also take responsibilities.
It's our responsibility, the people's responsibility that they are responsible for keeping the city clean. I think it's a community people that's responsible for cleaning the drainage because they mostly affected when the flood is affecting our areas and villages.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, a barber in the Indian town of Pushkar has been dubbed the cosmic barber of his unique approach to grooming. Let's check it out. Recapping the main stories for tonight, government rejects proposals in amnesty report, Parliament passes public order amendment bill, and Minister says military plays a vital role. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To the poll question we are asking, with 19 fires so far this year, we're asking, are Fijians taking fire safety seriously? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, tonight's shot of the day. This beautiful shot of the gladioli flower taken by Satish and Rohini Kumar of Singatoka. With raindrops settled on the freshly bloomed flower, its colors lit up a dull day experienced around the country yesterday. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us by Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. Until next time, from the team and I, good night.
We from Lautoka, we love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is Kanto. I'm from Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Mula Fiji, my name is Florence Ratu. I'm from Core Number 1 in Tabua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits every day and all day.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm from the soccer crazy town of Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.